Hey guys, what's going on? By popular demand, we are going to do another work on the bag today, taking form and function, taking one of the movements of the form and applying it to bag work. We'll see you there. Hey guys, what's going on? Super Greg here again. Today we're going to be going over another section. This will be the second part of our series of bag work and form and function. Again, understanding that just because we're using 16-ounce gloves, it's not boxing, it's not kickboxing, it's not Muay Thai. We are taking traditional Kung Fu and we're applying it to the bag so that we can do bag work. Okay, so really important, guys. Anything that you do, whether it's any martial art, if you're not pressure testing, if you're not working techniques on bags, if you're not doing anything like that, then the fighting art that you have is gonna lack in ability and practicality, right?
That's the fact, Jack! That's the fact, Jack!
So what we wanna understand is how can we take apart movements in a form and apply them to pressure testing, apply them to an applicable situation where we can actually use and utilize the movements in the form. So we're going to be taking one of the movements that we do, or a small segment of movement that we do, and we're going to start, instead of being in an archer stance position, we're going to start in a guard stance position. Feet are shoulder width apart, right foot on the right side, left foot on the left side. We're going to keep our hands up, elbows tucked in. So the part in the form is going to be a hook. So a Chinese, or the hook that we do in traditional Chinese Kung Fu, is not so much here, right? But can we use this type of a strike? Yeah, we have strikes in our forms where we come across this way. But what we're going to do here is this is going to come right across our opponent's chin. So if you want to think about that, right across our opponent's chin. So that's going to be our hook for right now. So we start in guard and we come across with the lead hand striking across our opponent's chin. We're going to go straight down the pipe with the reverse punch. And then this here is going to guard as I sneak underneath and strike with the inverted strike. Right? So we're going to go hook, reverse, guard, strike with the inverted strike. We're going to switch stances, lead, reverse, and then invert to the right side of the body. So we're doing what we call switch fighting. And in one of our forms, this is what we do. We utilize that switch fighting. So again, we start with the hook, reverse, and this comes up. So as I throw the reverse, I bring the hand up and use this as my shield and throw my invert. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, switch, lead, reverse, and then invert to the other side. Now, when we're doing our drill, we can utilize this back and forth. So now if we're on this side, we're in guard stance position. We come across, reverse, guard, invert, switch, 1, 2, 3, back to our invert here. So I'm using a triangle moving on 45s and moving off center from my opponent. Every time I move, I can throw down the pipe, I can move on a 45, I could move on a 45. And again, if we're leaning this way or leaning this way, we can still do our job. Anytime from guard stance position, when I switch, I step back from my switch to be able to accumulate more power. I don't ever get into a habit of stepping forward and stepping back. Because if you're stepping forward closer to your opponent, you're off balance. Most of your weight is on your heels, not your toes. You're in a bad position, and you will be taken down or knocked out. So we start here, and anytime that I switch back so that I create more volume in the same area. And in our forms, a lot of our forms, you'll see we switch. In traditional Kung Fu, we'll switch and we'll move. We'll switch and we'll move, because we're assuming that our opponent might not move. If our opponent doesn't move back, we get hit. Or we could be taken down if our opponent doesn't move back and we step in. So we want to make sure that anytime that we step, we're doing a switching step to move around our opponent. So footwork is very important as well. Okay guys, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna just work right now this. And we're gonna work the switch. Right foot on the right side, left foot on the left side. So if I'm working center line and I'm in guard stance position, the minute I slip here, it causes discomfort for my opponent. If I'm on this side as well, when I slip here, it causes discomfort for my opponent because I'm not directly in front of my opponent. So what we're gonna work on is switching and switching, right? So we're gonna switch, hit, switch, hit, switch, hit, switch, hit. And every time that I block and strike, I'm either pressing, creating a bridge between me and my opponent and coming over the top, making sure that the elbow's down, switch, hit, switch, hit. And I'm always making sure that my arm is straight down the pipe, but my body is slightly turned off center. Not far away, close, but off center. And when I turn, I get that power from my hip. Power comes from the hip, not the shoulder. Push from the hip, from the floor, out. That's how we're gonna get the power, okay? And you can do so many different combinations with this, and it'll help, because now you can apply over the top, switch, over the top. So we come here, come under, come here, come under, come here, come under, come here, come under. And we can do the same drill over and over again. Let me fix my mic. So we're gonna go back to the drill. And we're gonna speed the drill up just a little bit so you guys can see the rhythm. So hook, reverse, invert, switch, right? So from guard, hook, reverse, invert, switch, 1, 2, invert. 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 So as I'm doing this, if you notice, I have my square on my bag. So what I'm trying to do is be conscious of jaw, center of the body. Switch. I want to make sure that everything lines up. So when I'm sparring, I'm looking for that jaw line. And I also want to make sure that I'm hitting in different areas and not hitting the same spot over and over again. Every time we hit the same spot over and over again, obviously if I hit him with a right, or if I hit him with a left and I hit him with a right in the same spot, I go 1, 2, that's either gonna be guarded or it's gonna be turned. It's never gonna be in the same spot. I don't wanna say never, but we wanna change it up a little bit. We go high, low. So high to the chin, down the pipe, down to the body. And we wanna work all the levels. We don't wanna just be limited to what we're doing. So really important, guys, to take away from form and function. This is one little small part in a form. And like I talked about last couple of weeks, we're working on taking pieces of the form and making it function, right? If I'm standing in front of a mirror and I'm doing the same drill, so I go hook, so our hook, right? Not hook. So 1, 2, 3. I want to practice this. Now say my opponent comes forward. So I go 1, 2, 3, he comes forward. I just step back and I apply that straight reverse opposed to switching and coming forward on my opponent. We can't always think that our opponent is going to be moving back all the time. You have to be able to fight moving backwards, right? You have to be aggressive moving backwards, which means you're baiting your opponent. And that's part of our form too. So again, it's that 1, 2, 3, right? 1, 2, 3, I step back, 1, 2. So as I'm stepping back, I'm loading up on my lead. It's a reverse punch. And as I twist, I really get a lot of power out of that lead punch, turning into that, or the reverse punch, turning into the lead punch, right? So we're able to switch left and right. So guys, I hope that this helped. I hope you're starting to understand that working bag work is not just for Muay Thai fighters. It's not just for boxers. This, I've been doing Sanda. I've been doing full contact, continuous, and Sanda my whole life. I'm 53 now, been training since I was 10. So I was lucky. I got into the idea of learning how to apply my drills and apply my skills from my Sifu. So very, very important. And I want to share that with you guys. And he had us working bags all the time. But I do notice that the Kung Fu community doesn't use bags as much as they should. They should be using pad work and bag work, and they should be applying their techniques as well. So I'm hoping that the Kung Fu community starts watching these videos and working with these videos, and I hope that it helps them as well. I hope it helps you guys out there. And again, this is not solely just for the Kung Fu community. This is for everybody out there. We all should be uplifting each other and not bashing each other. It's kind of ridiculous to say, oh, you know, well, MMA is better than Muay Thai, or Muay Thai is better than Kung Fu and everything else. It's not the style that fails you. It's the person doing the style that fails. It's not the individual. It's not the system itself. It's the individuals that are applying it. Because I've seen some great MMA guys. I've seen some great Kung Fu fighters. I've seen some great Muay Thai fighters. I've seen great boxers. And then I've seen shitty all the way around as well. So, you know, it doesn't matter what style you're learning. It's a matter how you're applying it and if you're applying it correctly, and pressure testing. I can't stress that enough, guys. Definitely pressure test. Guys, I want to thank you very much for being a part of my my YouTube channel. Definitely take a look, subscribe and click the bells below. Definitely take a look at my Patreon page that's up here. Definitely click that, guys, because you get the same videos, no commercials, and you get more video. You get another 4 or 5 minutes worth of the same type of video, and it gives you a little bit more in depth. And it also helps us create more for you guys here on YouTube as well. So guys, thank you very much. We will see you next week.